This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. There once again is a new show on Netflix that is all about a lot of the things that they're trying to do in the physical realm, which of course, when we talk about CERN and we talk about a lot of the stuff I've just covered in regards to the rituals and the eclipse have to do with the tearing of the veil. And of course, why not have another show about the same exact plot? Because you're programming and they're programming people into accepting this whole mindset of what these scientists are trying to do in our reality at places like CERN, which is tear the veil. When they tell you they're trying to smash protons together and create a black hole, people just go, oh, that sounds interesting. I don't know what that means, but okay. And in reality, what they're trying to do is rip through the veil to bring over what is on the other side. That is part of the reason that so many of these other narratives exist in our current physical realm. The narrative of extraterrestrials, the narrative of aliens, because what they're trying to do is bring about demonic entities from the other realm into this realm. We hear it all the time in all of these shows that get popularized about upside downs, about matter happening in two places at once, something that we've all been taught throughout our schooling in the public school or in any type of schooling in science classes, matter existing in two places at once, right? So the new show is called Three Body Problem. That's airing on Netflix. And of course, the logo has the all-seeing eye on it because, nobody thought of that before in the history of coming up with a show or a movie, the all-seeing eye, right? Because again, that's what this is all about, the tearing of the veil. And I'm going to show you some of these clips from the show so you can see for yourself how in our faces this is. Because what they're showing you is, of course, bringing over these entities into our realm and then, of course, making humanity extinct. They even go as far in the clip I'm about to play you to talk about the exact same things going on at CERN with smashing protons together, with trying to open a black hole. And they even go as far to show you, literally, as they come down from the sky to the earth, they literally show you what looks exactly like CERN. You see the big Hadron Collider and all underground at CERN. It's almost like they took the video clips right from CERN directly. This is the latest thing that they're pushing on Netflix. And of course, everybody out there watches this and doesn't realize that they're being programmed.
Human beings have existed for over 100,000 years. You weren't so different from apes. How long did it take you to discover agriculture? It took you 90,000 years to get from hunter-gatherer to farmer. How long did it take you to become industrialists? Atomic power, computers, the information age. And how long do you think it took us to get from hunting to farming, and farming to industry, and industry to atomic power? We are going to kill your science. It's a proton. One we have turned into a sentient computer. The universe has more dimensions than the three we occupy, but we have the technology to unfold them. We summon energies you cannot imagine. Even a tiny proton becomes something very large. A proton has virtually no mass. To the places where your best minds explore reality. Every civilization ends in chaos. There will eventually be a cataclysm from which we cannot recover. Our planet will be ripped in half.
So that's the newest show, right? And of course, as you saw in those clips, the extinction of humanity. This is a common thing that we hear, right? They love talking about order out of chaos as well, which is another motto that the secret societies like to use. There is more truth in these shows than there is in any news that you will find on any TV station anywhere. The news is formulated to control your thoughts, to control what you think is reality so that they can herd you where they want to herd you and make you feel the way that you don't want to feel, but the way they want you to feel so that they can manipulate you into wanting the things that they want you to have and living the way they want you to live. So that was literally from this show, literally showing you what CERN is doing, right? And it's not the first time either, because if you remember in Stranger Things, the Upside Down, the whole narrative of the entire show, Stranger Things, and the Upside Down, all of the, how many people have seen the show? We're talking hundreds of millions of people. And maybe not even 1% of them have a clue about what CERN is and what CERN is doing. And when they hear people like me talking about CERN and ripping through the veil, they're like, I don't know what that means. Like, this guy's talking about, I don't know. And then they come out and CERN's like, hey, we're going to do these rituals like you've seen on my channel. All the other stuff, right? The Goddard Tunnel ritual. We've seen them doing what they claimed were mock satanic rituals outside of the Shiva statue, the Kali statue, whatever it is, over at CERN, the deity, the destroyer, right? And people go, I don't really know. You know, this is a spiritual war that's taking place right now, and you're in it. So in Stranger Things, the whole narrative, everybody's watching this show, hundreds of millions of people. And like, that's fascinating. The Upside Down. Is it like the board game Dungeons and Dragons? Well, Dungeons and Dragons is one of the greatest gateways they've ever used to indoctrinate young children with the occult. But what they're talking about with the Upside Down is exactly what's going on with CERN. That's why in Stranger Things, they show you a Hadron Collider as well. And what do they do in Stranger Things? Remember some of these clips I'll play for you where the professor's talking about bringing over what's on the other side, right? And they say, well, can we get over to the other side? And he says, well, not unless you have something that can conduct that type of energy, right? Like a semiconductor, like the thing at CERN.
So basically, there are parallel universes, infinite variations of it.
Like the Veil of Shadows.
And the tightrope is our dimension. And our dimension has rules. You can move forwards or backwards. The flea can also travel this way.
Upside down.
Exactly.
Is there any way for the acrobat to get to the Upside Down?
You'd have to create a massive amount of energy. Open up some kind of tear in time and space. You create a doorway, like a gate. It might even swallow us up whole. You'd have to create a massive amount of energy. Open up some kind of tear in time and space.
So here is yet another show, right? And if you read the plot for the show, you have Stranger Things, you have Three-Body Problem, and this one says, you know, part of the plot of it is searching for extraterrestrial life. And when you research the show, there's articles like this out there. Three-Body Problem explained with the help of an astrophysicist, right? So they immediately do what I constantly am telling everybody who listens to my channel. Okay, I try to tell you this. They try to word this stuff and automatically make you feel like you aren't smart enough to figure it out. That way they could tell you whatever they want. And you're expected to be like, I don't get it. And they're going to go, exactly, you don't get it. And if you think the way that I'm thinking or talk the way that I'm talking, you're automatically considered a conspiracy nut or someone who's not smart enough to understand. But in reality, God made all of his soldiers equipped and smart enough to understand, to be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves, to have eyes to see and ears to hear. So let me read this article to you about the show that you saw earlier in this video, Three-Body Problem. Netflix's Three-Body Problem premiered March 21st, and there's a lot of science. That means you can't understand it, folks. The new Netflix series from screenwriter Alexander Wu and Game of Thrones' David Benioff adapts a best-selling sci-fi trilogy by Chinese writer Liu Cixin, an engineer with a high-level understanding of physics, right? So the writer's an engineer with a high understanding of physics, and you're not. So you're not going to understand this, okay? They're just going to show it to you. But we'll get stories like this to try to make us understand it. Goes on to say, fortunately for audience who aren't Einsteins, the Netflix series shifts much of the drama away from the skies and onto humans. It even creates a bunch of entirely new characters to give us get people to care about in between all the physics. And what it's doing is giving you a zoomed out view of quantum mechanics and astrophysics underlying all the cool stuff in space. Our heroes and villains are all scientists whose decisions and conflicts dictate humanity's course both now and in the distant future. With the assistance of an actual astrophysicist, let's go through the basics that we all need to know and understand so that we can understand this show, right? You mean so you can condition the audience into this stuff, so you could cast a spell on the audience into thinking what they're trying to do at CERN and what they're trying to do at NASA all has to do with physics and astrophysicism, and all of us are so stupid to understand. And anybody out there that tries to think that this is something spiritually or biblical, well, we're no Einstein, so who are we to say? So this is them saying verbatim, this is the science, listen to the science, this is what we're showing you. Anything else that you hear, do not believe it. As they condition people into doing and going along with what they're planning to do for you to humanity. Instead of humanity saying, hey, I don't care if you're labeled a scientist or not. I didn't give you authority to open a black hole. We didn't give you authority to take our tax money and create these hadron colliders that all of these countries now have. We didn't give you authority, nor do we trust the people behind the science. Because don't we need to trust the people? It's one thing to go trust the science, right? Everyone goes, trust the science. You have to trust the science to put this in your body. You got to trust the science to do that. But what about the scientist? Because someone's a scientist, am I automatically supposed to believe that they're a good person? Huh? That they couldn't be a quote unquote mad scientist or just a straight out psychopath who happens to be a scientist? Haven't we seen enough horror stories about guys who are doctors who end up being serial killers? Right? So who's to think that a scientist couldn't be using science for bad? But of course, we all know that's what they're doing. It has nothing to do with science. The term science is just a modern term for witchcraft and sorcery. And everybody out there laughs it off and dismisses it. And then if you ask them, what are they trying to do at CERN? They don't know how to explain it. And they go, oh, it's not what you're saying. Oh, it's not, right? So what is it? Oh, I don't know. They're smashing atoms together. They're smashing protons together. They're trying to do it. And you go, why are they doing it? Is this gonna give us more food? Lower prices at the grocery store? No, it's not, is it? Oh no, but this is something for the future. Is it really for the future of humanity? You mean for the detriment and the ending of civilization as we know it, aka the tearing of the veil? So the article goes on to say the three-body problem has existed ever since humans began to understand gravity and how it works. That's, of course, for people out there that believe in this stuff. But you probably know that the Earth rotates around the sun because the sun's gravitational field is exerting a pull over our planet and all the other planets in our solar system. Of course, they got to give you the first background on their fake history of planets and all this other stuff, of course, and they don't want to correlate planets with sorcery and witchcraft and all the other teachings in the occult that worship the planets like Venus, like Saturn, Saturnalia hence, etc. So it goes on to say that two objects whose gravitational fields interact will always form stable orbits along a predictable, unchanging path. Newton figured this out, along with the formula for predicting their orbits in 1687. It's sometimes called the two-body problem. If you were to introduce another star into the mix, you probably wind up with a binary star system where both stars from stable orbits around a gravitational center. You're all listening and you're all going, I don't know what that even means. Exactly. So why don't we just use our eyes and our common sense when we see that scientists that we don't know, scientists who obviously are not based in any faith that we have, who think that they're smarter than we are because, of course, they've created their make-believe history of the world called evolution and the Big Bang Theory, and then we've given them authority to put poisons in our bodies, to tell us what we have to do when something supposedly happens that doesn't. And of course, we're apparently giving them authority over the entire atmosphere that we live in, giving them the authority to create energy at such a strong way that they could tear a hole through our universe. They tell people that they're trying to tear through and create a black hole. And people aren't going, yeah, no, I didn't sign up for this. I'm not really too interested, right? We're just not allowed to question it. Do you see where this conditioning has come from? You're not allowed to question the scientists because you don't understand, right? But those of us with discernment spiritually understand, okay? And if you watch the video I did on the supreme ritual for the eclipse, if you haven't yet, go watch it, okay? This is about invocation and summoning of these deities that they plan on bringing over, which is why they've conditioned you so much, so badly, and so hard over the last 50 years to believe in aliens. Because the aliens are really demons. And as Aleister Crowley said, they were called demons, and in the future they'll be called something else. Because if everybody realized that this was spiritual, that we were talking about demons and demonic entities coming over. And of course, like I keep saying, everybody believes ghosts exist. They see Ghostbusters. They watch all these ghost shows over and over on the History Channel, on Bravo. All these channels have reality shows about catching ghosts. And everybody goes, I believe in ghosts. I do. I believe in ghosts. I believe my grandma might be here and talking to me. You're like, oh, yeah, grandma decided to come all the way back from the dead because she wants to watch you take a dump through the wall, and then she wants to make sure that you're cleaning the dishes while she's gone. I mean, what are you thinking? They believe in that, right? But this is too much for them to wrap their heads around. Now they see horror movies, and they go, well, yeah, I believe actual bad ghosts could exist in my home too. And you go, well, okay, if you believe bad ghosts could exist in your home, do you believe in demonic possession? Like, oh, I'm not really sure if I believe in demonic. Well, if you believe bad demons or bad ghosts exist, do you not believe that they're demons? What do you think they are? Oh, well, I think it's just a bad spirit. Well, isn't a bad spirit a bad demon? Isn't it a demon? Aren't we talking about the spiritual realm? And then they don't know what to say anymore, right? So when we're talking about the spiritual realm, we're talking about things on the other side. Then we hear these scientists talking about ripping through a black hole and bringing things over. And they have you conditioned to believe that they're aliens. Do you not understand that they're talking about demons? And the reason they've conditioned you with aliens is if everybody knew they were demons and that they were trying to bring demons over, they would be stopped instantly. Not only would they be stopped, they'd be taken care of. They wouldn't have justice in the court of law. They'd have justice in the town square where the civilians would realize, wow, this is what they're doing? And how do they get to these points to summon these things? Oh, what do they do with youngsters? What do they do with blood? What? All right, we're just going to skip the whole trial part of this. We caught him red-handed, and we're going to take out a long, let's just say pitchfork, and we're going to handle this with a little private justice because this is obviously something we can't tolerate in our society, right? Because again, if everybody realized that the aliens they speak of are demons, then there would be no evolution. Then everybody would obviously convert to believing in the Bible because the Bible tells us all this stuff. But because they hide the truth of the Bible from you and they create this fictional reality around you, thus we live in the time period we do where the majority of people are too dumb to realize actual truth. Most believe in atheism, right? The Christians who are Christian don't even believe in the spiritual realm and don't even believe what's actually going on and will hear a video like mine and shut it off while they're home. And they're like, oh, is grandma in the kitchen the spirit of grandma? While they're going to see psychics and don't understand you're not supposed to mess with mediums and psychics. And they do anyway, right? Everybody needs to wake up to what these scientists are really doing because they ain't scientists. They're sorcerers. They show you this stuff in all these movies. None of these plots are original. That's why I showed you the clip from Stranger Things as well as the clip from Three Body Problem because none of it is original. It's the same script being used over and over and over again. They want you to think it's art. It's conditioning. And they're conditioning you to believe when this goes down that something else has happened, even though this is all prophesized to us. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.